Welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. It's great to have you back. Let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip before we jump into this week's episode. Welcome back. This is a great show. We're going to talk again from Lisa McLeod about an article she wrote on how to deal with negative people at work. And let's face it, we've all had that person who just likes to just be that negative Nelly, and all he or she wants to do is talk about how bad the company is, or how bad this project is, or how the customer is just sucking you down. But really, in a sense, it's not the customer, it's not that project, it's that person and their negativity. So how do we deal with that? Lisa wrote a great article. Let's jump into some of the tips that she recommends in terms of overcoming that negativity within the workspace. Because as she writes, Dr. Sherry Carter talks about how emotions are contagious and negativity keeps pounding at us. And we need to figure out a way to stop that negativity and ensure that positivity both in our life and our work, and find that balance. We'll jump in right now. Tip number 1, stop agreeing. Now, it's going to be a little awkward, it's going to be a little hard to do that, but you teach people how you want to be treated and how you want them to act in front of you. If you allow someone to keep ranting in front of you about, oh, how bad this company is, or how much you hate your boss, or how much this company sucks, those jokes keep coming and they keep going. But if that person is more likely to hear, no, I don't agree with you, they're going to stop. They're not going to have those emotions around you. So while it may be awkward the first time, stand up for yourself, for your positivity, for your company, and disagree. Tip number 2, redirect their energy. You don't want to become this person's psychologist, psychiatrist, social worker, or just someone that they come to complain to about what's going on. Instead, recommend that they go to HR or to their manager or someone else. It's a nice way of saying, hey, it's great, Sally or Joe, that you're talking to me about this, but I'm not the right person. Go redirect their energy somewhere else. In doing so, they will understand that you're not going to partake in their pity party or their complaints, but rather you're trying to help them with something else. They'll have to make that decision if they want to keep that negativity or go redirect it somewhere else. So make sure you take your time and redirect their energy to another party. Tip number 3, balance it out. And that can be hard to come by these days in terms of positive people. There's only so many of them out there, especially with all the stuff going on in the world. That said, there's different ways to balance it out. You can read books, you can watch podcasts, you can even watch the EQ Video Tip to find things that are positive to balance out that negative environment that you might be dealing with. The key is to have the right balance between positive and negative emotions. Negative emotions are important and they shouldn't be suppressed, but we want to have balance between the two. So take a moment, find somebody positive to be with, or find something positive to work on that will help balance out when you have people surrounding you with these negative emotions. Our next tip, safeguard your mind. And that's a very tough one, but the key really here is don't let this ruminate in your mind. While someone may be having a bad day or a bad meeting or something like that, you have to really let it go at a certain point. You have to understand that while it's theirs, don't let it ruminate in terms of what you're doing. Take time to safeguard yourself so that you're not feeling or taking over the feelings of someone else who's having a negative experience. Our last tip. Remember you don't know what you don't know, and act from a place of empathy. Many people, especially going through the pandemic and just life in general, have a lot of things going on in their mind. And it's sometimes hard to understand what they're dealing with and what's going on behind those closed doors. Take a moment to try to be empathetic as much as possible and understand that you don't know everything that's happening in someone's life and you haven't walked in their shoes. Remembering that you don't know what you don't know is an important piece too, because it will help you understand that this person may be having a bad day or a bad time, and that's okay. It's time to understand and act with empathy, but not overtake your emotions with it. That concludes this week's EQ video tip. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember, negative people will always exist around us, and that's okay. And it's okay to have negative emotions in your world. You just don't have to let them seep deep into your day and hijack your mood. And that's really the important piece here. Take a look at the tips that Lisa provided us. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ video tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.